What started as an investigation into $13 worth of merchandise allegedly stolen from Walmart quickly led to this.
Officer Hop grabbed her and threw her to the ground.
73-year-old Karen Garner, just 80 pounds, was arrested after failing to follow Officer Austin Hop's orders to stop.
And then he and Officer Jalali chucked her into the dirt, searched her, hog-tied her.
Stand up.
I'm not doing it.
Right now you're resisting.
What Hop didn't know at the time, Garner lives with dementia and other disabilities which limit her insight. She kept repeating one thing while allegedly resisting arrest.
I'm going home.
Stop.
Seeing it on such a defenseless, frail person, so reckless with human life.
Attorney Sarah Shelkey filed this 52-page federal lawsuit, which claimed Garner experienced a broken arm, dislocated shoulder, and sprained wrist.
Community members saying we're concerned about.
Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Monday, February 28, 2022. Time is 3:37 p.m. Yes, you know what time it is. Jersey time. All right, we have an update on a story I did a few months back of a Loveland police officer. He was a real tough guy, this one. Real big tough guy. He picked on a 70-year-old lady who suffered from dementia. Picked her up, slammed her on the ground, dislocated her shoulder. I think he broke her wrist or something, put handcuffs on her. She was a real danger to his, he feared for his life on that one, right, people? So it's an update, and I'll find the link to the story I did on that, and you can watch it again if you haven't already seen it. It's pretty disgusting. You have to ask yourself, what the hell goes through? What decent human being would take a 70-year-old woman, a frail 70-year-old woman, she's no big woman, she's skin and bones, okay, who's not mentally well, she's not a danger to anybody, she's just trying to walk home. And this guy, had imposed his will on her, and the way he was to deal with it was to pick her up and slam her down and put the handcuffs and twist her arm. I watched him, how he twisted her arm, and I'm like, what kind of human, I looked at it and I said, what kind of human being does something like this to another human being who can't even fight back, can't even resist? I mean, how do they put their head to the pillow every night? That's what I want to know. How do they put their head to the pillow and sleep? The only conclusion I have is that they're sociopaths and they lack empathy, and that's what a sociopath is. It's somebody who lacks empathy. And if you don't know what empathy is, go look it up. It's the ability to feel other people's pain. You see a little kid fall down and hurt themselves, you go, ooh. Or that video I put up the other day, which I took back down, which everybody's seeing now, where that tank drove over that car over in Ukraine, and the first thing I thought was, oh, that poor guy's going to get crushed to death. That's a terrible way to go. We all went, oh, that's empathy. And of course, unless you're a psychopath, sociopath, and you're getting off on it. Okay, so this is reported on 9news.com. And this came out February 25th, 2022. Former Loveland police officer charged with assaulting Karen Garner could get plea deal. And this is disgusting already. Here it is. I have not read the story, so I don't know exactly what the plea deal is. I know that there's been lawsuits, and no doubt he's costing the taxpayers of Loveland a lot of money. And this Loveland Police Department is no example of a good police department, because there's been other problems stemming out of there. Okay, this is Loveland, Colorado. And interesting thing is, Colorado did away with qualified immunity. John Stewart is not happy with the Lamar County DA's office, and he's not shy about voicing his serious concerns. Good, I'd say. We have to start rising up against this bullshit. I'm really disappointed that the district attorney would offer a plea. Well, you got to stand there, Mr. Stewart, that the police job is to enforce laws. The job is to investigate crimes, make arrests, and here's the key sentence: assist the prosecution. So the prosecution really is a teammate of the police department. So yeah, they're gonna, unless it's something really egregious, they're going to do everything they can to make life a little bit easier for one of their fellow gang members. It's just, the DA is just a different branch of the Blue Line gang. Stewart is the son of Karen Gardner, a 75-year-old Loveland woman who suffers from dementia. In May of last year, prosecutors charged now former Loveland police officer Austin Hopp with second-degree assault after he allegedly broke Garner's arm while trying to arrest her. Police had responded to a Walmart near Garner's home after she forgot to pay for about $14 worth of... Imagine that, $14. $14 worth of stuff that this cop showed up to deal with. It's a shoplifting case. And look what it has blossomed into because of this idiot cop. This thug cop. This big tough guy who's beating up on a 7-year-old dementia woman. And I wonder how much money Walmart's going to be paying out for this because they're the ones that called the police. And $14? And when you think about it, $14 retail and it's probably $10 their cost. And look what has happened. And who's the employee that runs this? Hey, I saw them. You know what? If I saw somebody shoplifting, I'm not getting involved. It's just not worth it. That person sees that I rat them out or something, then I run into them and out on the street somewhere. Now I got to deal with that? No, not me. Police responded to Walmart near Garner's home after she forgot to pay for $14 worth of items. What Austin Hopp did, he was not serving or protecting. Well, Stewart said, well, Mr. Stewart, you are once again suffering from the Blue Line propaganda virus that they do not protect and they do not serve. And looks to me like you got a virus shot, huh? You just suddenly woke up and realized that they don't do any of those things you just said. You are a victim of the Blue Line virus. Stewart said he and his family have made it very clear to prosecutors since the very beginning of the case that they were not interested in a plea deal for Hopp. Well, Mr. Stewart, again, they're gonna go easy on the Blue Gang members because the Blue Line gang is what sends prosecution cases so the state can make money. Which is why Stewart said he was so surprised when prosecutors told him late last week that they would allow Hopp to plead guilty to a lesser felony. A deal could result in significantly less time behind bars. I felt like they were really going to bat for us until we see it. Well, this is one of the things I've been pointing out. These prosecutors talk a good game. Here in Monmouth County, prosecutors talk a good game. They charge the cops, yep, I will give them that. They charge the cops. But when it comes time to prosecuting, they make deals. They make a way out for these cops. I mean, we feel that there's enough evidence and conviction. Of course there's enough evidence. There's a video of it. There was a similar case in Clear Creek County late last year when former Idaho Springs police officer Nicholas Hanning took a plea deal to a misdemeanor after tasing a 75-year-old Michael Clark. Clark's family vehemently objected to the deal. 9 News legal analyst Scott Robbins said, under Colorado law, victims and their families have certain rights, but vetoing plea deals is not one of them. Robbins said that it's probably a good thing. Well, I wonder if somewhere in the story they're going to talk about the civil lawsuit, and hopefully they can hold that officer personally liable because, as far as I know, Colorado did away with the qualified immunity. Victims are not in a position to know what prosecutors might know about the difficulty in providing particular charges, Robinson said. Well, they can certainly, I don't know, find out what the evidence is, or will they know what the evidence is and then have another lawyer look at it. When asked to comment about the supposed plea deal, the Lamar DA's office would only say that a hearing is scheduled for next Wednesday. And that's the end of that story there. So, excuse me, people, still getting over that virus thing. Well, we got another cop. Looks like he's going to get off on. They'll probably take that thing down to a local ordinance violation, and he won't have a what do you call it? An indictable offense on him. And if it gets down to an ordinance, then he can wait a year or two and have that whole thing expunged, and he'll get a job somewhere else. You know, he's not riding off in the sunset by any means, but he's definitely going to cost the taxpayers of Loveland some money. And this will be another case where an officer probably won't pay a penny out of his pocket for the damage that he has done for his poor decision-making skills. Whereas the rest of us would look at it and say, you know what, that's an old lady. There's no reason for us to pick her up and slam her down, twist her arm. You could have just simply just put her in the back of the vehicle and taken her down to headquarters and find a family member to come down, get her, pay for the best way to handle this whole thing, I'm thinking about it right now, is to have just put her in the back of the car, taken her down to headquarters, find a relative to come pick her up, and either have the relative pay for the $14 worth of merchandise or have it returned back to Walmart. That would have been the simple, easiest way to have handled this problem. Nope, you know how the heroes got to be. Got to escalate. They're not happy unless they hurt somebody, right? That's how they solve problems. I keep saying it, people. They solve problems with violence. So yeah, one has to start asking yourself, either they're hiring a lot of violent people or they're training them to be violent. I don't know which it is. Maybe it's a combination of both. But this is, I mean, anybody with half a brain on their shoulder would look at that and say that's not the way you handle never mind whether she got dementia. It's not the way you handle a 7-year-old woman. Don't you got respect for your elders? Of course, obviously he doesn't. I could go on and on about this, but this story here in the video really is just disturbing that this man can, I mean, you got to ask yourself or ask him, how would you feel, officer, if somebody took your mother and picked her up, slammed her on the ground, twisted her arm up behind her back, broke her arm, bruised her all up? How would you feel about that? Would it bother the officer, or are you that removed that it wouldn't? I know for the rest of us, it would piss us all very much off. I know if somebody did that to my mother, who happens to be 88 years old, I'd be very upset. I'd probably be the one they'd be putting the handcuffs on. John Van Dyke for New Jersey Exposed. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Until next time, people.